When 100 soldiers revealed the incredible truth, a girl's heartwarming claim revealed as amazing. Emma stood in the community center, her heart racing as she faced a room filled with veterans. Their weathered faces told stories of sacrifice, bravery, and heartache, each one a testament to lives lived on the edge of courage. A girl of 17, she felt small among giants. Yet, at that moment, she held the power to connect their struggles with her own, and it surged within her like a tidal wave. These men and women had fought for their country, yet too many felt invisible, echoing her own feelings in the shadows of economic despair. As she listened, she felt something shift. One veteran, his hands shaking as he spoke, recounted a harrowing mission that had changed everything for him. "I came back, but a piece of me stayed behind," he said, voice thick with emotion. Emma's chest tightened. She thought of her mother, kneeling beside their measly paycheck, fraught with worry. The financial burden rested heavy on both their shoulders, but there was a dream glimmering just out of reach to lift her family above the weight of their struggles. Emma's resolve began to solidify. The town was divided. Whispers about the lack of support for veterans filled the air. The painful truth rang clear: the very people who sacrificed so much had returned to a community that often chose to look away. But Emma was not okay with that. The idea of a community event blossomed in her mind like wildflowers after a rainstorm. She envisioned a day devoted to honoring these soldiers, where their histories would spark pride and foster understanding. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Her determination only grew stronger as she shared her plan with the veterans. But the moment approached when she had to confront the town itself. Each step felt like she was walking into battle. Doubt hung in the air, a thick fog that seemed to wrap around her neck. People whispered, questioning her motives, claiming that acknowledging veterans was a waste of resources. Emma's heart sank, pushing the weight of their dismissive tones down deep into her gut. "They're not just numbers," she whispered to herself, tears welling in her eyes. Yet the voices of those brave soldiers echoed in her ears, reminding her of their silent struggles. She envisioned their stories being shared among families, neighbors, friends. Could it bridge the divide? Could it spark the light of understanding? As the event day approached, hope bloomed amidst uncertainty, like sunflowers peeking through snow. But Emma knew doubt still loomed, and she faced a question that wrapped itself around her heart. How does a single voice rise above the roar of ignorance? As she stood at the community center, a determination ignited within her. The event could change everything for the veterans and for herself. But as she surveyed the room filled with hopeful faces, she understood the urgency of her mission. The light flickered, but could it shine brightly enough to dispel the shadows of doubt? Emma took a deep breath, her hands trembling slightly as they rested against the podium. The chatter quieted, all eyes on her, a sea of faces eager and uncertain. She clenched her fists, willing away the nerves that threatened to overpower her effort. Her gaze drifted over the veterans, old and young, some with medals gleaming on their chests, others with stories written in the lines of their foreheads. "Thank you for being here today," she began, her voice shaking but gaining strength with each word. "We all know the sacrifices you've made. But I believe the time has come for our town to recognize you, not as just names on a wall, but as heroes in our lives." A few nodded, and she sensed a flicker of hope rising in the room. "I want to organize a community event," she declared boldly, adrenaline surging. "A day where we can share your stories and celebrate your impact. An experience where we as a community can show you how much you matter." As she continued, recalling the specifics, enthusiasm crackled in the air. She painted vivid images of booths filled with photographs, food, and laughter, where children would hear the tales of bravery that shaped the world. Her own voice became imbued with their stories, she shared anecdotes about the times she had overheard her mother speak of her father a soldier who never returned and how those stories resonated within her. Yet, in the back of her mind, doubt persisted. What if no one showed up? What if the community continued to disregard the soldiers? Shaking off that inner voice, she pressed on, channeling her fears into passion, her fears into purpose. The veterans shifted in their seats, murmuring quietly amongst themselves. One man, his eyes glistening with unshed tears, finally spoke up. "You really think people will come?" His voice, though soft, carried the weight of experience. "I do," Emma replied, the determination bubbling in her chest. "We need to make it worthwhile. If we share your stories, others can see and hear the real heroes behind the headlines." A ripple of agreement spread across the room. Emma grinned, her heart pounding wildly. Each nod felt like an affirmation, pushing more wind beneath her wings. "But how do we make them care?" Another soldier interjected, frustration spilling into his tone. "How do we get through to folks who don't see us anymore?" Emma felt the weight of that question settle on her shoulders. For a moment, the room stilled, every person holding their breath as if waiting for magic to unfold. "Let us show them," she answered fiercely. "Let us invite them. Let us create an atmosphere bursting with emotion, connection, and love. Let us share our laughter and our pain. Let us show them that the heroes who fought are still fighting for recognition right here, right now." In that moment, the atmosphere shifted. Emma felt a collective spark ignite within the room, a flicker of hope rising from the depths of shared pain. Slowly, hands began to raise, veterans offering their assistance with planning, sharing their ideas, volunteering to represent their comrades' tales. But what she didn't expect was for the community to start dropping hints of skepticism, the murmurs of doubt clawing back like shadows at twilight. "What if no one cares?" someone whispered from the back. The question echoed in her heart, sending a shiver down her spine. Standing tall, Emma took a breath, her heart now thumping louder than ever. She did not want to lose sight of their strides forward. "Then we'll make them care," she shouted, feeling the fire within her blaze. "And if 100 soldiers stand side by side with one girl who believes, how can we ever fail?" As she spoke, the energy in the room crackled. Yet, as the chatter resumed, Emma couldn't shake the thought lurking in her mind: was belief enough? That lingering doubt danced just out of reach, waiting to reveal whether her vision would unite the town or crash in disappointment. Would they rally behind her cause, or would Emma find herself left standing alone? The days passed in a blur of planning and hope. Emma poured herself into the organization of the event, her initial fears gradually transforming into determination. She met regularly with the veterans, each meeting punctuated by laughter, shared stories, and the occasional tear. They mapped out an outline of the event, a timeline that felt ambitious but alive with possibility. Every corner of the community center began to bloom with potential. Banners hung from the ceiling, and the scent of fresh paint lingered. Emma spent hours crafting posters. "Celebrate our heroes!" Each stroke of her marker a pulse of her belief. As she taped them to the walls, she imagined the faces of attendees, friends and neighbors coming together in solidarity. Yet, lurking beneath her enthusiasm was a persistent whisper of anxiety. While excitement crackled among the veterans, she couldn't quiet the nagging worry that echoed in the corners of her mind. What if people didn't show up? What if the doubts of a few grew louder than the excitement of many? The night before the event, Emma sat on the edge of her bed, fingers twisting nervously in her hair. She recalled conversations from earlier that week, the skepticism that ebbed through those tentative voices. She could still hear the weighty silence that settled whenever the question of turnout arose. With a sigh, she reached for her phone and scrolled through her contacts until she found her mother's name. She needed to hear her voice, to draw strength from someone who understood. "Emma?" Her mom answered quickly, concern lacing her tone. "Mom, what if? What if no one comes tomorrow? What if this all falls apart?" Emma's heart raced as the truth spilled out. "Listen to me." Her mother's voice was steady like an anchor amidst waves. "You're doing something amazing. Whether people show up or not, you've already made a difference. You're helping those veterans feel seen and valued. Her mom's words warmed her heart, but the doubt lingered. But I know you do, honey, her mom interrupted softly. But you need to remember that even small changes matter. It might take time for this community to understand the weight of those sacrifices. You're planting seeds for tomorrow. Emma took a deep breath, the weight of the night settling into something manageable. Okay, I'll try to remember that. Good. Now get some sleep. Tomorrow will be a big day. After she hung up, Emma lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, and allowed a small smile to form. Her resolve flickered back to life. Whatever happened tomorrow, she would show up for the veterans, and that was a victory in its own right. Morning dawned with bright colors brushing the sky, the sun rising as if it, too, understood the significance of the day. She arrived at the community center early, her heart in sync with the bustling energy around her. Volunteers scurried about, setting up booths and arranging chairs, laughter mixing with anxious chatter. As the crowd trickled in, Emma felt her pulse quicken. She plastered a smile onto her face, shaking hands and exchanging greetings, her heart beating faster with every familiar face that appeared. But as the clock ticked closer to the event's start time, she noticed gaps. Emptiness in chairs, a lingering silence in the corners. The isolation began to stir an old anxiety. What if the crowd didn't swell as she had hoped? Then, just as she felt her resolve wavering, the doors swung open. Faces began to flood in, one by one, families, friends, neighbors. Excitement pulsed through her veins, lifting her spirit with each arrival. While the crowd cheered and veterans shared their stories, Emma felt the warmth of connection bloom like wildflowers in a field. It wasn't just about numbers. It was about the unity of hearts gathering together, bridging gaps that had felt wide. Just when she thought the tide of doubt had turned, someone leaned close, whispering urgently, "They're talking about honoring one of the veterans tonight. It's not just a celebration, there's a surprise." Emma's heart skipped. What surprise? What were they planning? Questions raced through her mind, the tension in the air buzzing with anticipation. Tomorrow, truths would unfold, and so much more than recognition awaited. With courageous hopes swirling within her, she realized she might not just be there to shine a light on stories. She might uncover something deeper, an incredible bond waiting to be forged. And she couldn't help but wonder, how would the community respond to what came next? The event began with a palpable hum of excitement, the buzz of chatter and laughter ringing through the community center like music. Emma stood at the front, her heart racing with every greeting and smile she exchanged. The vibrant decorations glimmered under bright lights, transforming the place into a beacon of hope and gratitude. As the veterans took their seats, Emma welcomed the crowd warmly, her voice steady despite the emotional undercurrent surging within her. "Thank you all for being here today," she began, her heart swelling with pride. "We gathered to celebrate not just the service of these incredible men and women, but the sacrifices they made for all of us." Applause erupted, filling the room with a spirit of unity that pulsed through Emma's veins. She scanned the audience, seeing familiar faces, their expressions ranging from curiosity to admiration. Yet, amidst the joy, a flicker of anxiety dared to rear its head. She couldn't shake the feeling that something monumental was waiting to unfold, something that would change the course of this celebration. As Emma transitioned into honoring the veterans, she invited them to share their stories. One by one, they stood, voices quaking at first but gaining strength with every word. Tales of bravery, brotherhood, and emotional cost flew through the air, weaving invisible threads connecting everyone present. Just as she began to feel the warmth of gratitude suffusing the room, a hush fell over the crowd. A figure stepped forward. It was Mr. Thompson, a seasoned veteran known for his humble demeanor and heartfelt stories. Coupled with him was a younger man, a stranger to most of the crowd. His presence sparked murmurs of confusion. "Today, I want to honor someone who isn't here," Mr. Thompson spoke, his voice rich with emotion. "He is my brother, George, who served alongside me and made the ultimate sacrifice." The crowd stirred, faces shifting in recognition of the gravity behind his words. The stranger stood beside him, eyes glistening with unshed tears. George was more than just a soldier. He was family. And today, I want to share a little secret he held close. A collective intake of breath vibrated through the audience. Emma leaned in, heart thumping louder than ever. George saved my life in battle, the younger man continued, but what he did outside of that life-changing moment, I'll never forget. He paused, emotions thickening the air. The silence was so profound it felt like the whole community shared the weight of his words. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a worn photograph, displaying it carefully. This is George with my daughter, Lily. He became her godfather. He was looking forward to meeting her. Unfortunately, fate had other plans. Emma's heart clenched. The room responded with a wave of hushed emotions. There wasn't a dry eye in sight. He promised to watch over her, the younger man said softly, voice shaking. And today, I brought someone who embodies that promise. He turned to the side, revealing a young girl standing shyly behind him, clutching a small plush bear, an intense light of innocence flickering in her eyes. Her expression was one of pure trust. She seemed to sense the energy around her. Meet Lily, he proclaimed, a mixture of pride and sadness in his words. George's legacy lives on in her. Today, we honor him, but we also commit to nurturing and loving every child like her, to ensure their futures are brighter. Emma felt tears welling up as the impact of this revelation washed over her. It was a reminder that beyond the struggles, beyond the battles fought, life continued, intertwining generations in the most unexpected ways. As the crowd erupted into applause, she caught a glimpse of Lily beaming, a symbol of hope sprouting from the roots of sacrifice. Emma realized that the surprise they had planned was not just an acknowledgement of veterans, but a heartfelt promise to future generations. The sisters of sacrifice and love melded in that moment, lifting spirits and intertwining hearts. Emma felt exhilarated, knowing that this was just the beginning of an even greater journey. But as she looked at the faces around her, she couldn't shake the feeling that more surprises were in store. How would the community come together to support this bond? What stories would emerge next, and how would they shape their path forward? Emma could hardly wait to find out. The applause settled into a soft murmur, but the energy in the room remained electric. Emma watched as Lily's small hand waved shyly from behind the podium, her innocent smile radiating warmth like sunlight breaking through the clouds. The young girl, who could barely understand the depth of what it all meant, embodied the very essence of hope and renewal. As the crowd's attention gradually shifted back to Mr. Thompson and the younger man, Emma felt the weight of emotion cling to her heart. It was surreal to witness such a powerful moment unfold, where loss intertwined with new beginnings. The air was heavy with both grief and joy, weaving a fabric that held everyone together. Lily will grow up knowing that her godfather loved her fiercely, the younger man continued, wiping a tear as he spoke. And while George may be gone, his spirit will always live on in every laugh, every hug, and every small moment we share with her. The community had gathered to celebrate, but this revelation was unexpectedly profound. Emma's mind raced with possibilities. How could they turn this moment into an ongoing commitment? How could George's legacy be honored through action and love? As the younger man finished speaking, the applause erupted again, this time ringing with a sense of purpose. It wasn't just a tribute, it was a call to action. Emma felt the urge to step forward, to lead the charge. Let us make sure Lily and every child like her knows they are loved and cared for, she thought urgently. But as thoughts raced through her mind, an unexpected voice broke through the echoing applause. Can we create a scholarship fund in George's name? It was Mrs. Ramirez, a beloved teacher in the community. Her suggestion hung in the air, rippling waves of excitement. Yes. Absolutely. Others responded in a unified chorus. Emma's heart soared. What if we could gather support, and ensure that every child had the opportunity to pursue their dreams? She thought, imagining the possibilities stretching before them. Scholarships, mentorship programs, even community workshops where veterans could share their skills with children. An idea was forming, blooming like a wildflower in the cracks of an unforgiving pavement. Lily clutched her bear tightly, her wide eyes taking in the enthusiasm erupting around her. She may not have understood the weight of the words spoken about her godfather, but her presence alone inspired a transformation. As the chatter crescendoed, Emma made her way to the microphone again, heart pounding. I think we should all work together to establish a community project in George's honor. We can bring the veterans and the children closer, and make a lasting impact. Cheers and affirmations echoed back to her. Smiling, Emma knew that the gathering was evolving into something bigger than she had ever dreamed. The veterans were not just being honored, they would play an active role in shaping the future. Just as the chatter reached a fever pitch, Emma's phone buzzed in her pocket. She glanced down and saw an urgent message flash across the screen. The tone was starkly different from the joyful atmosphere in the room. Her stomach dropped as she read it. Emma, we need to talk. There's something about George's story that you don't know, something more that could change everything. Her heart raced. What could it be? Emma felt anxiety choke her excitement, and the sense of anticipation created a tension in her chest. The joy of the moment clashed with the uncertainty of the news. As she looked around at the smiling faces ready to embrace their next steps, she felt a chill. What truth could possibly disrupt the beautiful bonds they were forming? Where would it lead? As the applause roared again around her, Emma knew deep inside that she was standing at the precipice of something monumental, and she couldn't help but wonder how the past would shape their future. Emma felt the pulse of the crowd, their laughter and warmth wrapping around her like a comforting blanket, but her mind wandered to the words on her phone, words that threatened to unravel everything they were building. She took a deep breath, trying to ground herself amidst the whirlwind of celebration. Something about George's story, she whispered to herself, trying to chase the ominous thought away. Was there some dark secret lurking behind the man they were honoring? She gripped the microphone tighter, anchoring herself to the moment, feeling the buzz from the eager faces before her. Then, in a surge of courage, she addressed them. Before we dive into planning, I need to share something. The energy shifted. Eyes focused intently on her, the laughter fading. I just received a text message that said there's more to George's story than we know. A collective gasp rippled through the audience, and she felt every heartbeat in sync with her own. Seconds stretched into what felt like an eternity, as she searched their faces, each one reflecting concern and curiosity. Look, whatever it is, it doesn't change how much he meant to us, to Lily, she continued, trying to reassure them, yet wondering herself what this revelation could entail. But it might change how we choose to honor him. Cautious whispers spread through the crowd. A child's giggle burst forth, clearing the tension for just a moment, reminding Emma of that innocent spirit standing behind the podium. She turned to look at Lily, her tiny form still radiating joy. In that moment, Emma realized they were at a crossroads between the shadow of George's past and the bright possibilities for the future. Then Mr. Thompson stepped up, his face lined with emotion. Let us not let fear guide us. If there is something to be revealed about George, we owe it to him, Lily, and ourselves to face it head on. His voice was firm and warm, encouraging strength instead of fear. The room buzzed with renewed energy. Emma felt hope rise like a song in her heart. They could handle this. Whatever lay ahead, they would tackle it together, aiming for a legacy that truly honored George and embraced the truth. Let us channel this energy into something good, Emma said, excitement igniting in her voice. Let us plan a community event, a day for everyone to come together, meet, and learn about what we can do for Lily and the other children. We can even invite veterans to share their stories, their skills. Yes. Mrs. Ramirez echoed with enthusiasm, her hands clasped in front of her. Let us show them how much we care. Cheers erupted once more, each voice lifting the weight in Emma's chest. But then, just as the room erupted with ideas and plans, her phone buzzed urgently again. She hesitated but decided it was better to be informed. Quickly she glanced at the screen. Emma, you need to meet me. What I found out about George could change everything for the community. Panic fluttered within her. What could he have discovered? Emma's heart raced. This wasn't over. Yet, as she stood before the crowd, vibrating with passion and hope, she caught a glimpse of Lily's bright smile. The bittersweet truth of the past hung heavy, but the promise of their shared future stood glowing, waiting to be forged. She nodded, determined. I'll handle this. I'll find the truth. For George, for Lily, and for all of us. What lay ahead felt uncertain and intimidating, but above everything else, Emma clung to the good in the moment, ready to take on whatever came next. And in the din of ideas swirling in the air, a question echoed through her mind: could she bear the truth, or would it rip apart what they were just beginning to build? The energy in the room buzzed like a live wire, pulsing with the weight of anticipation. Emma felt the eyes of her friends and neighbors bore into her, filled with a mix of concern and curiosity that reflected her own turmoil. She wanted to guide them toward hope, but the message on her phone loomed ominously in the background, a reminder that sometimes, more light also meant uncovering darker corners. Emma? Lily's small voice pulled her back. The little girl tugged at her sleeve, her eyes wide and trusting. Are we going to make it a fun day? Like a festival? Emma knelt down to Lily's level, forcing a gentle smile. Absolutely, sweetheart. We'll make it unforgettable. But inside she was in turmoil. What if the truth was something that could alter how they viewed George? She shook her head slightly, anchoring herself again. Let us focus on the good. With renewed determination, she turned back to the crowd. We'll organize an event where we celebrate together: games, music, stories. Let us make this a day to lift each other up. The crowd erupted in applause, voices crooning in excitement. Someone shouted, "Let us do it for the kids." Yes, Emma thought. It was for Lily and the others. Their joy would be the sharpest beam cutting through the murky past. But as they began discussing ideas, Emma's mind raced ahead. How could she move forward without knowing the whole story? The excitement in the room grew, but a knot tightened in her stomach. Amid the brainstorming, she stepped outside for some air. The evening breeze brushed against her skin like a cool hand. She glanced at her phone again. She couldn't ignore it. She tapped a quick reply. Where? When? Moments later, her phone buzzed with a response. Meet me at the bench by the park. Just come. Uneasy, Emma took a deep breath and returned to the gathering, her heart weighing heavy. She felt the laughter and the hopeful exchanges as if through a veil. Mr. Thompson was talking about getting local businesses involved, while Mrs. Ramirez shared ideas about a bake sale. Yet all Emma could think of was the truth waiting at the park. Emma? You okay? Mr. Thompson's voice broke through her thoughts. He eyed her with concern. Just a lot on my mind, she responded quickly, forcing a smile. But let us keep this momentum going. After another hour of planning, Emma found her moment to slip away. She quietly excused herself, heart pounding as she made her way to the park. The sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the horizon in hues of orange and purple. It was beautiful and serene, but her mind twisted in knots. At the bench, she found a familiar face: Ryan, George's old friend. His expression was solemn, the kind that indicated he carried a weight far heavier than the evening air. Emma, he started, running a hand through his hair. I didn't know how to tell you. What do you have to share? She asked, trying to keep her voice steady, though it cracked slightly. He hesitated, looking down. George, he had secrets. Things he did during his service that he never told anyone. We thought he'd left them behind, but they're catching up with us. I found some records, documents that could really change the way we remember him. An icy shiver ran down her spine. Did this mean she would have to face the memories of the man she'd come to respect and admire with newfound scrutiny? Emma, we can't ignore this. You need to know before the event, Ryan said, his eyes earnest. It's about how we honor him. It's not fair if you don't know the full story. Her heart pounded again, not just from fear but from a rush of determination. She needed to face this head on. If George had shaped lives, perhaps the truth held more depth than she anticipated. Okay, she whispered, steeling herself. Let us talk. As they sat down, the warm colors of the sunset faded into darkness, making the unknown before her feel all the more pronounced. How much weight could one secret hold? And would unveiling it shatter the light they sought to bring into the world? Emma took a breath and prepared to dive into the shadow of George's past, heart racing. with the knowledge that this was just the beginning. But could the revelations about George unite or forever divide the community they were working so hard to build? Ryan shifted on the bench, his expression darkening as he pulled a folder from his bag. The shadows around them grew longer, the chill of the evening wrapping around Emma like a shroud. Each rustle of the paper sounded like thunder in the quiet park. "This," he said, his voice low, "is the start." Emma leaned in, her breath quickening. The thought of what she might uncover stirred a whirlwind of emotions. As he opened the folder, a stack of faded documents spilled out. Each sheet held the potential to change everything she thought she knew. "What do you mean he had secrets?" she asked, struggling to keep her voice steady. "What kind of secrets?" Ryan's gaze drifted to the ground, as if he were weighing the gravity of her question. "George saw things, awful things. Things he didn't talk about. It was all classified, but there are accounts here that suggest he had deeper involvement than anyone realized." He pointed at a document that detailed a covert operation gone wrong, names listed as collateral. "We thought the war was behind us, but it left its mark on him. And now, those scars are surfacing." Emma's stomach churned. Was this the man she had trusted? The one who stood tall and cheerful in their neighborhood, bringing cakes and laughter? What kind of turmoil could be hidden beneath that surface? "Why didn't anyone tell us?" she whispered, her heart racing. "Why now? I think he wanted to protect you all. It's like he wore a mask, pretending everything was fine. But the truth has a way of creeping out, you know?" Ryan looked at her, the weight of his words clear in his eyes. He didn't want this to define him or you. But Emma felt the ground beneath her shift. Could she keep the community strong when the threads holding it together were beginning to unravel? "What do we do with this?" she asked, panic creeping in. "How can we celebrate George when he might not be the hero we thought?" Ryan exhaled slowly, the seriousness of the situation deepening. "You have to decide how to honor him. Do you want to share this? Do you think the community deserves to know the whole truth?" A shiver went down her spine as Emma thought of Lily and the other kids, their innocent faces lit with hope. Telling them could destroy that light. But hiding the truth felt like a betrayal. This was George's legacy, whatever it was. "I wish I had time to process this," she admitted. "We're supposed to be celebrating him in a few days. Do I deny what he was?" "It's not about denying," Ryan replied, earnestness flashing in his eyes. "It's about understanding the complete man. People can grow, even from darkness. You have to choose how to encompass that in what this community does." Emma looked at the papers trembling in Ryan's hands, realizing they represented not just George's past, but her own dilemma. Did she want to learn the truth at the cost of everything they had built? The vibrant dreams she had fostered for the festival flickered in her mind like a candle in the wind, as the weight of the decision loomed over her. "Whatever we do, it has to come from a place of love," she finally said, voice trembling. "Can we honor the person he was and acknowledge his flaws? Can people do both?" "Maybe that's where the real heroism lies," Ryan said softly, his eyes searching hers. "In being human." The park faded into shadows, leaving just them, confronted by the vast complexities of life. Emma felt the chill creep closer, the tension of choice pressing against her chest. As the stars blinked into existence above them, she faced the realization that no matter what she chose, it would forever alter the path ahead. Could they embrace the truth, no matter how painful, and still come together? Or would the very foundation of their community crumble under the weight of revelation? Emma sat on the park bench, her heart pounding like a distant drum. The weight of Ryan's revelation settled over her heavy and suffocating. The laughter and warmth of the upcoming festival now felt like cruel shadows mocking her confusion. She glanced at Ryan, his expression a blend of support and concern. "What if they can't handle it?" Emma voiced her deepest fear. "What if everything we've built crumbles when we share the truth?" Ryan leaned closer, his voice steadying her frayed nerves. "People can surprise you. Community is about resilience. It's the bonds we forge that hold us together, even when the truth is painful." She thought of George, his laughter ringing clear in her memories, and the brimming joy he seemed to carry. But now, that laughter seemed flawed, a broken note in a once perfect melody. But can we truly celebrate him when we know there's more beneath the surface? Maybe it's not just about celebrating him, he suggested. Perhaps it's time to celebrate the journey. All the ups and downs that make us human. Emma bit her lip, the enormity of his words crashing over her. It was a balancing act of honor and truth. The festival was meant to honor George, but what was George if not a reflection of their community? Losing that illusion threatened to take them down a path she wasn't sure they could navigate. The park, once a sanctuary, now felt like a battleground of thoughts. Each document in that folder whispered of shadows, secrets that seemed too heavy to bear. But equally, they spoke of understanding multiple chapters woven into a single life. Maybe, Emma started, her voice shaking, maybe we could frame it as an opportunity for growth. An awareness that there's more to every person than what meets the eye. Ryan nodded, a smile breaking through the tension. That's it. With the right words, you can inspire them to embrace the whole picture. You can show them that even heroes have their faults, that overcoming challenges is what truly makes a person remarkable. A flicker of hope ignited in Emma's chest. Perhaps there was a way to reconcile the light and dark within George's story. I could speak about his courage not just in acts of bravery, but in living through his struggles. In facing demons from the past. Exactly, Ryan said with enthusiasm. You'll let them know that while George might have hidden parts of himself, he fought through them. That's the lesson you want to share. As they spoke, the night air became thick with possibility. Emma could envision the community gathering, children with smiles, adults with open hearts, all eager to celebrate. And yet, the nagging question remained. If the truth opened wounds, could they heal together? Ryan checked his watch, the reality of time pressing in. You'll need to prepare, Emma. The festival is only days away. Unless you feel ready to tell them the whole story, you could find a way to weave it slowly into the celebration. Yeah. Emma inhaled deeply, the chill of the evening becoming a backdrop for her newfound determination. I can share the joy and the struggles. Show them it's okay to be flawed, to learn, to grow. An idea blossomed in her mind, powerful and terrifying in equal measure. I can invite George's family to share too. Let them tell us about him, the man behind the mask. It could create a space for dialogue. Ryan's eyes brightened. That's brilliant. It brings everyone into the fold, gives them a chance to connect with each other. Yet, it means I will have to take the first step. To expose my heart, Emma responded, feeling the weight of that decision settle deeper. Ryan placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. And you don't have to do it alone. Emma realized then that love was the anchor amidst uncertainty. Whether they shattered or rebuilt, they would do it together. Could they rise from this moment, stronger for the truths they unearthed? But just as she gathered her courage, a shiver raced through her as a figure moved from the edge of the park, cloaked in shadows. Emma, the voice called, familiar yet unsettling, I need to talk to you. It's about George. Her heart slammed against her ribs, curiosity intertwining with dread. What other secrets lay hidden, waiting to be revealed? Emma's pulse raced as she turned to face the voice that had cut through her thoughts. It was Mary, George's sister, stepping out of the shroud of evening shadows. The weight of her presence sent a chill down Emma's spine, and she felt an immediate surge of anxiety. What did Mary know? Emma, Mary began, her voice trembling slightly, I need your help. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears, the anguish apparent on her face. There's so much about George that I haven't been able to say. You're planning an event to honor him, and I don't want to hide anymore. Emma felt the night grow still around them, a fragile silence hanging in the air. What is it that you want to share? She asked gently, her heart aching at the vulnerability of the moment. Mary took a deep breath, steadying herself. George wasn't just a soldier. He was a human being, faced with choices that haunt him. He had secrets because he didn't want anyone to know him as anything less than a hero. But he battled demons that left marks on his soul, marks he never shared. Emma's heart softened as she absorbed Mary's words. This was the very truth waiting to unfold. Here was the risk and the responsibility, all coiling together, ready to erupt. "What do you want to do?" Emma asked, feeling emboldened by the fire igniting within her. "You can speak too, share him as the man he was, flaws and all." Mary's eyes blinked swiftly, and her jaw quivered as emotions bubbled. "I want the community to see George for the whole person he was. I want them to forgive him for the things he couldn't control, but still remember the good, the laughter, the love." Emma nodded, the vision of the upcoming festival morphing before her. "Together, we can show that imperfections don't erase courage. After all, his legacy isn't just about heroic actions on the battlefield. It's about living through life's complexities, unresolved and beautiful." A warm smile spread across Mary's face. "Thank you, Emma. I've been so scared to say anything. I just wanted him to be remembered positively." "He deserves to be seen as the full person he was," Emma replied, hope blooming in her heart, ready to rise with them. "We can create an atmosphere that embraces love, connection, and even the messy stuff." With renewed determination, they exchanged plans for how to incorporate Mary's story into the celebration. They talked late into the night, crafting an approach that would honor George's complexities, while offering the community a chance to reflect on the deeper meaning of heroism. As they walked back to the festival grounds, excitement buzzed in Emma's veins. She felt ready, anchored in courage and love, willing to embrace whatever truths arose. And the night before the event, beneath a blanket of stars, she felt more certain than she had ever felt before. Days ticked away, the festival day finally dawning bright and beautiful. The community center hummed with energy, laughter ringing out like music as people gathered. Emma stood before the crowd, heart thumping in rhythm with her thoughts. She spotted Mary, standing off to the side with a hesitant smile, ready to share her truth as well. "Thank you for being here today," Emma called, letting her nerves crumble. "Today, we celebrate not just the bravery of George and our veterans, but the humanity intertwined with their stories." She spoke about courage, perseverance, and the reality that faith flourishes in the face of flaws. With every word, she felt the crowd leaning in, hearts open and ready to listen. With a nod, she invited Mary up to the stage. The community's breaths were held as Mary stepped forward, the spotlight revealing both her anxiety and strength. "George was my brother," she started, voice soft but growing steadier. "He fought a battle every day both on the field and within himself. I want you all to hear not just the hero he portrayed, but the real man behind that armor." The crowd listened intently as Mary wove their family's narrative, capturing the essence of George's laughter, his pain, the moments he felt lost. It was everything George had concealed, laid bare. With courageous authenticity. Emma's heart expanded as the air filled with understanding. Then, the moment came, the pivotal moment where a laughter erupted from the audience, tears spilled freely, and a bond formed in collective gratitude. Everyone in that room was connected through the stories shared, acknowledging their own struggles. They united in applause, not just for George, but for the bravery it took to be vulnerable, to face the shadows together. As the day wound down, Emma felt the light of hope spiraling around her, evident in the smiles and hugs exchanged. The community had come together, expressing their compassion in ways she could never have imagined, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, she glanced at Lily, who was still perched upon a nearby table, captivated by everything happening around her. In that moment, Emma understood that hope bred in authenticity, grew in love, and took root in honesty. "Can we keep sharing more stories?" Lily asked, eyes sparkling with innocence. Emma smiled down at her, wrapping an arm around her shoulder. "Absolutely, sweetheart. This is just the beginning." Together, they would continue to weave a tapestry of stories, connection, and unyielding support, united by every past and present. And with each step forward, Emma realized that light could shine through cracks, just like the sun breaking through clouds after a storm. The future shimmered with endless promise, a blank canvas still waiting to be painted with vibrant colors of hope, community, and resilience. Now more than ever, Emma felt the truth of their journey stirring within her heart, reminding her of the incredible power of vulnerability to bind them all together. As the echoes of celebration lingered in the air, Emma knew this was just the start. She turned to her community with hope anew, ready to open their hearts wider, inviting everyone in to share, acknowledge, and learn. One voice could spark a flame, but together, they could create an unbreakable fire of transformation. Now, would you stand with Emma? Would you brave the shadows to keep the stories alive? It starts right here. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that ignite change. Leave a like now to fuel the message that truth and transformation matter. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. You must share the emotions you felt during this journey. And remember to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this beautiful transformation. This is the moment to show your support, to show you are a true fan of the journey ahead. Don't wait not even one more second to make this happen.